I got it. Okay, so the material that we're going to review tonight is Megillat Esther. Ezra, Nehemiah, and Divrei Hayamim Bet. It's interesting that, you know, if they were to ask a question, say, in which sefer this is, it's interesting if a person answered Ezra and the answer is Nehemiah, would they consider that incorrect or not? I don't know, because in reality, Ezra and Nehemiah is known in Chazal as Sefer Ezra, not Nehemiah, you know? You know, we have, okay, name me two situations where there was a hapalat goral and where are they mentioned? Laila.
One of them is in Megillat Esther, and Haman does the lottery. I don't remember that. I think the other one's in Nehemiah. I'm just not 100% sure.
Alicia?
When they found Yonah out.
Oh, I think we talked about that. There was actually three. The answer is three. Yitzchak.
There's a bunch, no? There's when Shaul says to put between me and Yonasan, Pila Goralos Benu Vein Yonasan Beni.
So yeah, I was
divided with the Goral.
Yeah, but since I was talking in today's materials, so you know, so the one in Nehemiah is Kurban Eitzim. Doesn't say Korban, but it's Kurban Eitzim. It's interesting.
He talks about that in like the Mishnah. Remember last year? Yeah,
it doesn't mention whom though. There's a lot of very interesting. Oh, and by the way, did you notice that Avshalom Kol happened to allude to in Sefer Nehemiah about he's a linguist. In Hebrew, it's called Baal Shan. His name's not Mordechai though. Okay. So what happens is he said that lishkot and lishachot and nishachot. So which happens to mention two different places in Sefer Nehemiah, right? And he mentions lamnar, that the interchangeable lamna and nun are interchangeable. It's also interesting that the word dog is spelled Daled Aleph Gimel in Bereshit Gimel in Nehemiah. So I think we might be asked this: who? No, I can't, because it's well, I will ask. Okay, so who was upset at people who did not speak Hebrew, and who was upset at someone who did speak Hebrew? Actually, it is in today's material, both of them. Okay, Alicia, say one.
The people who met Rav Sheikha at the wall, he was speaking in Hebrew to make everyone scared.
First of all, it's interesting, by the way, if you notice that in Divrei Hayamim Beis, it does not mention Rav Shakei's name. Right? Doesn't mention it. Okay, what's the second case? Yitzchak?
When Nehemiah got angry at the people who half the kids couldn't even speak Hebrew.
Who did he get upset at?
Klal Yisrael's intermarriage rates. So really the Ashdodis and Israel.
Ammoniot, right? It's in the end of Bereshit Gimel, right? Correct. Which month and which year did Vashti get coronated regarding Melech Achashverosh?
Do you mean Esther?
Yeah. Oh, so sorry, Esther, sorry. Yeah, Lila.
It was in Achashverosh's seventh year as king.
And I did ask which month. Right?
Was it Tevet? It was Tevet, no? The 10th month.
Good. Yes, yeah. So it's interesting. There were two reasons why people were a little bit afraid, when there was it was dictated by Ezra that people should get together to do something. What were the two reasons, and what was this something, and when did it start? Okay, there are multiple questions to this. Alicia, say one.
But because of the Geshem and because of the matter, which was intermarriage.
Yeah, okay, so, and when did it start, Yitzchak?
So they held the meeting on the 20th day of Kislev, but then they said that we should do it little by little, and they started on the 1st of Teves.
Right, and Alila, how long did it take them to complete? It's not a tough question, just have the simple math. Okay, I asked Lila, Alicia.
I don't know.
Alicia?
2 months?
No.
2.
Look, I can't assume that. I'm going to assume that it was a regular and a non-leap year. So, Yitzchak.
3 months, took till Aleph Nisan.
Right. So since it started Aleph Tevet, and since it finished Aleph Nisan, the answer will be 3 months. Right? Okay. Interesting. They did ask in the Chidon Tanakh Artzi, how long did it take to complete building the Chomat Yerushalayim? Remember that? Michal, remember that? How many days did it take to complete the building of the Chomat Yerushalayim?
I have to admit that I was watching while we were preparing Sheva Brachot for my brother, so I could have missed a few of the questions, but I know the answer.
I apologize. Okay. Yes, Yitzchak, how many?
52 days.
When did it complete?
On the 25th of Elul.
Right. So of course you do the math backwards. So it would be like Daled Menachem Av is when in theory, they started. All right. Based on 52 days. Yeah, it's interesting. This I can't ask you, but just to point out, where is it mentioned Hashegal in our total material?
What does that mean?
Where does it mention Hashegal? I can't say what it means because that's the question. Okay, Alicia.
In Sefer Nehemiah, when Nehemiah was asking from the king to go to Jerusalem to rebuild.
It's sort of like a concubine or something, no? Like a pilegesh.
Yeah. So what happens is, just as an FYI, there are certain words that are written one way and we pronounce another way. Okay? So for example, if you take a look in Dvarim Perek Kafchet in the Tochecha, it says Tishagalna, but we do not pronounce it Tishagalna. We pronounce it Tishachavna. Okay, so what happens is that's the translation of Shegal has a negative connotation, Okay.
So Tchorim.
Right. Where's that?
That was by when they brought the Aaron to the Plishi cities.
Actually, you could have said it actually before, because that's where, when it went to the different cities of Plishtim, you know.
It's also in the Tochacha.
Yes, yeah,
Chat Kitavo.
those are like hemorrhoids, right? Hemorrhoids. That's translated. But I just wanted to bring down the shegal, tisha galna, tisha, we pronounce tisha chavna, and that's what it means. Okay, that she sleeps with the guy. Okay, that they can't ask, you know.
No, there's also a mandam where it says it means a dog.
It's interesting why they don't bring down. Ah, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, I just remembered something. I think the expression is Batishama Kol Yushalayim Merachok. You know. But let me before I yes, Alicia.
In Sefer Ezra, when they lay down the foundations of the Beit HaMikdash.
So there's I think that's right. No. It's two similar phrases. I apologize. I know that it's in today's material, but let's just continue on. The two people that were chained Banuchushtayim, both in Melachim Beis and in today's material. Who were they? Who were they? Yitzchak.
Yechanya. Oh, sorry, Tzidkiyahu.
This is an example. Okay. In today's material. Okay, today's material. Go ahead, Alicia. Let's just you say.
Menashe.
Menashe was one of them in today's material, and it happens to be. And Yehoiakim. So it's Yehoiakim and Menashe. One is by Yasrehu, one is by Yasruhu. Ben Chushtaim. Okay. It is another very interesting, slight difference, by the way.
It also says it in Malachim about Tzidkiyahu.
One second. First of all, I'm dealing with today's material. So, okay. But let's hold on. Hold on. That is correct. It does say Tzidkiyahu in Melachim Beis, in Perek Chafei, right? Okay, but I was just talking about today's material. Okay. It's interesting that there's a difference between Divrei Yamim Beis and Melachim Beis regarding Pesach. What are the differences? Okay, and then they'll look to another question. Yes, Yitzchak.
Was it from the days of the Shoftim or from the days of Shmuel?
Right. It's interesting, you know. In our material, it says Mimei Shmuel Hanavi, and it says from the days of Shoftim in Melachim Beis. You know, but it's interesting. We know that Pesach Sheni, even though it's not our material, you know, because that's mentioned in Bamidbar Perek Tes, you know, people came over and said, you know, listen, we're anachnu tmeim, nefesh adam, can we do it sometime else? And we did. Who made a Pesach Sheni? Lila.
Was it Yeshayahu?
It had no. Elisha. Sorry, I didn't catch the answer.
Cheskia.
So what happens in today's material, it says Yechiskiyahu, instead of Chiskiyahu. But yes, that's correct.
Well, some say that maybe he added the month like after Nisan, so it was technically Nisan.
It was the 30th day of Adar, but Ho Horoi Lekavo Nisan.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, just an understanding of the words. We talked about there were two people who stood to read, from the Sefer Torah. Who were they, and on what did they stand? Lila.
One of them was Ezra. No, it's an Amud. Was it Amud Et? Another. Just
Go ahead.
Mina.
Go ahead. And
Yeshayahu? No, I don't think.
so Yoshio. But it's interesting. In today's material, it says in Perek Lamed Daled V'Yamim Beis, Vayamon Melech al Omdo. Al Omdo. So how do you understand Omdo? If you take a look in Melachim Beis, it says Vayamon Melech al Ha'amud. Ha'amud. It doesn't say al Omdo. So you could say Omdo means Ha'amud Shalo. His pillar. Or his standing.
Maybe it's that he didn't lean.
This is okay. Where does it mention the name of Chozai? Where does it mention the name of Chozai? And I had in our Torah material, I came across it once, I think only once. Yes, Yitzchak.
It says, and the rest of the Menashe's sins and like what he did, they're written on the words of Chozai, but it's unclear whether it means a person named Chozai or just means like Chozai, like the Nevi'im, like Chozim.
Yes, it's according to the Mepharshim, it says Chozai was the name of a person. Name me two people who were killed by their avadim. Two people who were killed by their avadim. Yitzchak say one, then if Elisha do second one. Go ahead.
I can think of four, but in today's material. Okay, Ammon.
Ammon. And what about that's in today's material? Where else is somebody gets killed by their avadim? Elisha.
Was it Amatzia?
Amatzia. Was Amatzia killed by his avadim? Was his father? No. Isn't the Amatzia killed the avadim who killed his father? No. It's Melachim Beis Yud Beis. Melachim Beis Yud Beis. Okay, hold on. Yud Bet. Let's go. Yud Bet. I think the answer was Yehoash. His father, the father of Amatzia, was killed by his avadim, Yehoash. It's it's interesting the phrase.
Also Ishbosheth.
And then it says, ויהי כאשר חזקה הממלכה בידו, ויך את עבדיו המכים את המלך אביו, ואת בני המכים לא המית, ככתוב בספר תורת משה, אשר ציווה השם לאמור, לא ימתו אבות על בנים, ובנים לא ימתו על אבות, כי איש בחטאו יומת. And that is, as you said, Amatziyahu ben Yoash melech Yehuda. So, sorry.
No, Yehoash got killed, and Amatziyahu killed the servants, and it says, and says specifically, Lo yumtu avot al banim ubanim lo, right?
Yeah, so he killed only the people who killed his father, but not their children, as was perhaps common in other places.
Right. No.
That's another place where the Torah is called Torat Moshe. I don't know if the other place is in the material. Where else is the Torah called Torat Moshe? Elisha.
At the end of Malachi, does it say Zichru Toras Moshe?
Zichru Torat Moshe Avdi. That's right.
It's called Toras Moshe all the time. Like they found the Sefer Toras Moshe. In Ezra, in Malachim.
Okay. Good.
So, yeah. Who? Yeah, it's very interesting. Who said kinot for Yoshiyahu? Not a trick question, honestly. Elisha.
Oh, Yirmiyahu.
Yeah, right. And if you think about it, anytime you sat down Tisha B'Av, you will see this about Yoshiyahu in there, and Yirmiyahu was the person.
Also, Chazal tells us that the fourth parak of Eicha Yuam Zahav is about Yoshiyahu.
I also think in the Nehemiah it says Veshara Ayin Hechazik Shalun ben Chozeh Sar Pelach HaMitzvah. So I was thinking that when you said that.
Okay, hold on. Right. Yeah. Just so many questions I could think of, but hold on a second. I want to take a look at something. Yeah, you see what happens is we're in connection to what I say, V'hakol nishma ad lemerachok versus. Hold on. Come on. My eyes. Vatishama simchat Yerushalayim merachok. Very similar phrases. Again, the first one is Kol nishma ad lemerachok, and the other one is Vatishama simchat Yerushalayim merachok. Yitzchak.
I think Vatishama simchat Yerushalayim merachok. That was by the Chanukas HaChoma by Nehemiah, and the first one, Kol nishma merachok, that was by the foundation by Ezra. Not even by Ezra, like by Zerubbabel.
Was the second one is referring to, and this is the thing about that. You had those who had seen the Beit HaMikdash, the first one, they remembered it, and yet so they were crying, so much crying, and the people who saw the beauty of it, right? So they were happy. We do have something similar, not exactly. Okay, not in today's material, but in our material. Just want to, I know it's where it is. Keep on going, which should be, I know it's Vatehom.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to ask. It says, there's one place that it says, Madua kol hakirya homa.
says,
Where's
"Madua
that?
kol ha'kiriya homa," and it also says,
Vatehom kol ha'ir. I don't know if that's the material, right?
and there it says, "Vatibaka haaretz b'kolam." The same. So, Elisha.
Vatibaka aretz mikulam. That's the inauguration of Shlomo.
Of Shlomo.
And the other one also is when Adonia asks, Madua kol-"
Madua kol ha'kiriya homa. That's also the same story.
Right. Yeah. Actually,
That's like one pasuk after the other, like and so much noise. Which of course, if you walk in Jerusalem today, you can see it was all very, very close. So it's not very far. But where's the other pasuk which I mentioned? I don't know if it's in the material. It says "Vatehom kol ha'ir." Is that in the material? The whole city was what Tehom exactly means. It was also they heard the noise.
Elisha.
I was thinking at first when the news came about that the Aaron was in the hands of Plishtim, and then I thought Ruth, but then I don't think any of this.
No, Ruth is correct. But when Naomi and Ruth returned to Bethlehem, yeah, so they say, "But vahi kevo'ana Bethlehem, vatehom kol ha'ir alehen vatomarna hazot Naomi." Is that Naomi? They were all very noisily surprised, I guess.
It's Ruth Perik Al Pasuk Yutet. It happens to say ki ve'emunah hem osim. In a few places in our total material. Yitzchak.
So it says in Malachim, when Yoash is instituting the system of how they're going to distribute the money, and then it also says in Devar Hayamim by Yoshiyahu, when they're using the system, that they were emptying out all the money and they gave it to people.
I could have sworn it also mentions that in Malachim Beis, with Yoshiyahu, whether they like for Bedek Habayit. I could have sworn that it says they're also there, But those are two correct answers.
Wait, is it also in a Nehemiah, like when they make the briefs that over the Trumot and the Maser?
I would have to look in the Concordancia for that. Who built something for someone who you shouldn't have built and actually got thrown out in today's material? It's not a trick question. Lila.
I don't know but Haman built the gallows for Mordechai. I don't know if that's exactly what you're trying to talk about.
No, I wasn't thinking that. I could tangentially hear. Yeah, Elisha.
Eliashib built the Lishka for Ammon.
For whom?
No, Eved Ammoni. Tuvia Eved Ammoni.
Yes, but you got to be careful, I want to tell you something. It's very interesting, Amichai. They gave so much time to Marzbach or something like that from Tzfat. What happens? You could see he's going over the material in his head. But excuse me, how much time are you going to give the guy? That was really not right.
I don't know. We got like an hour for our written test. It's the same stage. It's the national final.
But the written test and the you mean your written test in the national final?
Yeah, nationals we don't have any oral. It's all written.
Right. Yeah. when, what was the date, not a year, but the date when it says, Beichal Hashem lo yusad. Beichal Hashem lo yusad. Yitzchak.
Rosh Hashanah, Yom Echad LaChodesh HaShvi.
Yeah, Miyom Echad LaChodesh HaShvi, correct. Right. Yeah. This is interesting. There's a phrase that is mentioned, I think, twice about mitziltayim kinorim or kinorot, and three different type of instruments. Right. Oh, yeah. But right. Which one? So what were they? Alicia.
Kinorot, Chatzeterot, Mitzaltayim.
What, by the way, what is Mitzaltayim?
The symbols, I think, is how they translated it.
Yeah.
It's something too, so.
You know, it's interesting. In Nante's material, there was someone who created an opening in the Choma and who was that person, and for how large was that pirza, versus in today's material, someone fixed a Choma, and who was that person for how much? So it's just the reverse. Okay, Yitzchak.
So Yoash Melech Yisrael broke the wall of Yerushalayim 400 amos.
Right.
And what?
Wait, why?
When he fought Amatzia and he sent that letter, Hachoach Asher Ba'al Vonon.
In fact, by the way, I think that in the Chidon Tanakh Artzi, they had that question, who was like considered the Choach, you know? Okay, yes.
And Nehemiah had all those people fix the wall. Everyone did like different amounts, like whether it's by their house or whether it's, so some people did like until certain gates.
See, it says it by Yamid, it says in Perek Gimel Nehemiah, it says, Vayamidu dal totav man ulav uvirichav ve'elef ama b'choma achar hashefot, which is ashpot. And sometimes the aleph gets dropped, and sometimes there's an extra aleph in the beginning word, like Ezroa is in Nante's material, but it's like Zroa, Ezra, yes.
If you want to read when Nehemiah on the third night he went around, if you want to read according to Rashi, he broke the wall a little bit to make it look worse.
It's possible, but you know.
It says Nishbara, so does that mean looking, or does that mean?
Yeah. Who said?
Yeah, like he shover b'choma. How else would you read it?
No, wait a second. Shnia. Hold on. Since you said that word, look closely. You did not. It's like you did not read the word correctly.
I said
Keep on. Next word.
Shover.
It's sover, not shover. Sover. It's like a samach. But as you're referring to Perek Beis, Pasuk Yud Gimel, Va'ehi sover bechomot Yerushalayim asher heim prutzim usharei ukalu va'esh. Okay. In fact, you have something very similar verb-wise, which they're not going to ask you, in Megillat Esther.
Can you repeat the question, please? I didn't hear it.
No. This can't ask you, okay? But I'm just trying to highlight something. Yitzchak was saying that, that Nehemiah broke the wall, okay? And he quoted, "Vahi shover bechomot Yerushalayim." So I said, that's incorrect. It does not say shover bechomot Yerushalayim. It says, "Vahi sover," with a sin, bechomot Yerushalayim asher hem prutzim ushareh ukalu va'esh. Sover is with a sin, and I've said many times that zashratz are interchangeable. So sin is like a samech. So what is a svara? What is a svara? Logic, you're thinking. I'm thinking. So we have in Megillat Esther the same thing. Yitzchak?
Asher siberu oivei hayudim.
Right. And that means asher chashavu. Chashavu, they thought. Okay? This is just linguistics to understand, and you see it's consistent. Again, they can't ask you this, about these two things, but understand the Tanakh, It would be tough because throughout, we have in two places in today's material that some people did not tell the details, okay? Where do we have that? But we have it in many places in Tanakh, in our total material, about people who did not tell all the facts, okay? In today's material, Lila.
Esther didn't tell her Ami or her Magal. Like Esther didn't say where she was born. Or when she was born.
Right? Okay, where else do we have it? Yitzchak.
I didn't tell anybody where he was going when he.
Right, it says, "Lo higati ladam ma Elohai noten el libi lasod lirushalayim." Right? You didn't tell that. But of course, we know about, for example, Shaul didn't tell his uncle what was going on, right? You have it throughout our material, but people kept still, they kept quiet. I asked the question before, in previous things, where does it say Madua pnechem ra'im hayom versus Madua panecha ra'im? Alicia, say one.
Madua panecha ra'im, that's by Artashas to Nehemiah.
Artashasta. And this is a tongue twister. Artashasta. Right?
Is it in the Hebrews? Wait, why do they
That's what it is. It says La'artashasta. That's actually, in this one, it's La'artashast. Hamelech. Interesting. It reminds me of something. Yes, and Lila.
Yosef asked Sarah, Mashkim and Seraphim, like, Madua panim ra'im hayom.
Madua pnechem ra'im hayom. So it's pnechem and hayom, where in Nehemiah it just says Madua panecha ra'im, right? For how many years was Nehemiah away from his king? 4? You show me 4 fingers. Okay. Alicia.
Oh, so I know 20 to 32 he returned back. So and he left in the 7th year. Oh no. Oh, 7th year? No, 20th year. Wait, what? Sorry.
20th year. So the question is it 11, 12? You just say from 20 and what happens, how do we know the 32 years? Yitzchak, how do we know 32 years?
It says he went back after in the 32nd year, and then he asked Rosh to go again.
Right. In Perek Gimel, right? Who was asked not to eat for 3 days and 3 nights? It's a tricky question. You'll see why. Okay, Lila.
Mordechai, and I'm pretty sure Hayodim B'Shushan.
Just 1 second. Right. Right. Yeah. Who
For
were,
the guy like didn't eat for 3 days and 3 nights.
Nobody asked him to do that.
yeah. Who said, I just want to get the second place.
Also, I looked it up. There's a machlokas in whether there's a shin or a sin or not.
At least in the Koran it says sin. It doesn't indicate that. You know, and it makes sense that just that he's thinking about it. You know,
But also on the other side, contextually, why wouldn't he tell anyone if he's like not doing something illegitimate?
Okay, so right. Come on. Yeah, okay. So who said Kain kidvaracha aleinu la'asot versus Kain mishpatecha atach charatzta? Yitzchak.
Okay, Achav said, "Kain mishpatecha atacharatzta." What was the first thing?
Kain kidvaracha aleinu la'asot.
Not sure.
That's in today's material, by the way. It says, what happens is, remember, on Chavdalet Kislev, they were all supposed to get together. And if they don't get together, then they're for 3 days beforehand, okay.
Chav Kislev.
On Chav Kislev, so on Yud Zayin Kislev, there's 3 days, right? So on Chav Kislev, they said, okay, this is what V'hi badalu me'amei ha'aretz, and so Vayanu chol hakal, Vayomru kol gadol, Kain kidvarecha aleinu la'asot. Now, we have Chazak b'nit Chazak, but we have Chazak va'asei in today's material. Chazak va'asei. Who said that to whom? Chazak va'asei. Lila, not your question. Alicia.
Shechania ben Yechiel to Ezra.
To Ezra. It's in beginning Perek Yud. Right? Should be in Perek Yud. Left-hand page. Shechania ben Yechiel mibnei Elam, which is interesting because you have mibnei Elam. Elam is mentioned in a few places in our Torah material. Elam happens to be mentioned, I think, in Noach, Bereshit Perek Yud. You have an Elam here, you know, in Ezra Perek Yud. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. By the way, we have in our material today, it says, Mipe el pe betumatam, you know, which we've had, you know, piv el piv, pe el pe. Where was another place? We had 2 places, name me 2 places, mipe el, like pe el pe. Alicia, give me 1. Line, give me 1. Alicia.
Achaz. But the thing you just said was achaz.
מפה אל פה בטומאתם? What? Really? Really?
It says something similar. I think it. Oh, what does it say?
In today's material.
By achaz.
מפה אל פה בטומאתם? You have, Lila, what do you say?
I don't know. I thought I knew it. I don't.
You have what I just quoted is in Ezra Perek Test, Pasuk Yud Aleph. You know, Asher tzivita biyad avadecha anviyim le'emor ha'aretz asher atem ba'im l'rishta eretz nida hi benidat amei ha'aretzot b'toavoteim asher milua mipe el pe b'tum atam. But we have pe el pe someplace else. Can we have that? I think that's the question. It was they didn't ask pel peh, but it related to that. Okay, Lila, where was else?
Like mi pelafe, like Menashe filled it with blood. Mi pelafe.
Didn't we have in Melachim Beis Perek Yud with Yehu, right? When he closes the door. The 80 guys who have to watch over the place, and it's very similar. It says that if you let them go, and you're in trouble, right? That's the same thing of Nafshach, Tachad Nafsho in Melachim Al Perek Chaf, right? By the way, you'll see that Sukkot, by the way, appears a few places. Remember, Sukkot is where? Where do you have the Sukkot?
Just off the top of your head.
What?
The place for the holiday.
The place. Yes, Lila, one.
Isn't Yaakov the person who gives it its name Sukkot?
Sukkot, okay, what else? Where else Sukkot? Yeah, yes, I say one.
The people of Sukkot refused to give Gidon and his men bread, so he beat them with thorns.
Right. Another one, Alicia.
Did he import people from Sukkot? Oh wait, Sancheriv. Okay.
Lila.
Don't all of Nisa they stop in Sukkot when they leave Mitzrayim?
That's also another one. That would be correct. Yitzchak.
Also, Be'ever Yarden in Sakon HaMelech, right? Ma'avi Adama Ben Sukkos Ben Sarsan.
Ben Saratan. See what happens, by the way, I would read it Saratan, because I bet you that I think there's a meteg between the tzaddik and the reish, So I think it would be Saratan. I think the Tikkun Simanim. My perception would be Shvana. It's not Tzortan, but in fact, do you know that? How do you say this? Can't answer this. How do you say France in Hebrew?
Oh.
No. It's go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Tzarefas.
Okay, Lila. Most people would say Tzorfat, right?
Yeah.
But what happens is the Academic Lashon Avrit, it says no, it's Sarafat. Sarafat, it's a Shva Na under the Reish. And why? My guess is because, first of all, the proof was this when I was at Bar Ilan. In one of the classes, it said, because in English, they write it as Z-A-R-E-F-A-T. So if it's Tzorfat, it'd be Z-O, and if it was Tzor, like
Because French it said Sarfatit, so it makes sense to be Sarfat.
Yeah, so what happens is, of course, they can't ask, where does it mention Sarfat? Because it's not in today's material. It's not in our material, period. Yes. The word by itself. The word by itself. I'm more specific. Okay. So where is it? Where is it? Yes. Yeah,
The word by itself is in Ovadia, but
you know,
also in Malachim, the Isha Almana was Kum Lech Sarfata Shel Tzidon.
yes, but that's why I said just the name itself. It's Ovadia only has one parak, Ovadia Aleph, and there's this in that same pasuk it mentions Sfarad, also the same pasuk towards the end of actually it's really interesting. They asked a question from Sefer Yonah, which I don't know why it took them so long to answer. They asked the question, who took off, the person took off something, and it had to do with, and it was aderet, So what was the answer? Who did it? Lila?
Melech Ninveh.
Melech Ninveh, that's right. Remember? We talked about the difference between, it says, I think it says, Vayashlech adarto me'alav, in Sefer Yonah. We have in Am.
The Vayav Adarto. Vayashlech Adarto is where Eliyahu throws.
I'm not talking about Eliyahu. I'm doing Vayash. Hold on. It's Yonah Gimel, right? That for sure. We know it's Yonah Gimel, right? It's on the right-hand page over here. So Yonah Gimel. So that's right. No, it says Vayaver adato me'alav, right? They're the ones Vayashlech adato. Yeah, right. In Eliyahu it says Vayashlech adarto elav, and here's Vayaver adato me'alav. Went too long, When in other words, once he said he gave it to Eliyahu, gave it to Elisha, and here he took his Vayaver adato me'alav, right? We have two cases of merita. It's like you're plucking out, right? So who did it? Who did it? In today's material. Elisha, give me one.
Well, Ezra to himself, and also his beard.
It's Uchshomi et hadavar hazeh karati et bigdi umeili va'emreta misar roshi uzikani, from the head and beard va'esheva mishomem. What's the other place? Yitzchak.
Well, this doesn't count, but this week's parsha, V'ishki Moretro show.
I said, this material. It's not a trick question. What wasn't a trick question? Yes, Elisha.
But Nehemiah to the people who weren't speaking Hebrew.
Right. See, I don't have the problem. I can't rip out anything. It's nothing, Actually, hopefully worst case is this Friday I get a haircut. They asked the question in the thing, who was the son of Pinchas HaKohen? Who is the son of Pinchas HaKohen? Which happens to be in today's material. Yitzchak.
Avishua.
So it happens to be when it gives the lineage of Ezra HaSofer, he's a Kohen. So it says, one named Uzi ben Bukin, but right before the end, right after that, it's Ben Avishua, Ben Pinchas, Ben Elazar, Ben Aaron, HaKohen HaRosh. It's interesting. HaRosh in terms of Kohen Gadol,
Ezra. ben Zariah, ben Daria, ben Chelkia, ben Shalom, ben Sadok, ben Achituv, ben
Go for it, you know.
ben
Who said,
Amaya,
who
ben
said, who said to him, Ki ein hatzar shove benezek hamelech? Who
Zariah.
said to whom, Ki ein hatzar shove benezek hamelech? Laila.
What does it mean?
That the enemy is not worth the damage of the king. Ki ein hatzar shove benezek hamelech. Yitzchak.
Esther said it to Achashverosh.
Achashverosh. Yeah. Al mi ne'amar avel v'chafui rosh. Not a trick question. Alicia.
Haman.
Boo, boo. So the famous question, somebody asked me, I was walking out of shul one morning before Purim, he says, where does it say Haman in the Torah? Yitzchak.
Well, there's two places. There's the one Chazal give is Hamin Ho'etz, sure to be Sicha, V'Ziachom Menu. But then there's also Vayochlu B'nei Yisrael as Haman.
Except there's a difference. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Haman, there's a dagesh in the mem.
There's a patach under the hey idea, right? But we could say, yeah, but hamin ha'etz is chata patach under the hey hashela, you know. Was everything that Haman suggested to give to the person who's going to get a special treatment given to that person or done to that person? Alicia?
Not the crown.
Right. The Keter Machot was not given to...
He didn't say to give the crown.
Oh, yeah.
He said give the horse on which the king rode when he got the crown.
בסוס אשר רכב עליו המלך, אשר ניתן כתר מלכות בראשו. So
Rode
maybe
when he was
you tell me
coronated.
that the horse wore the horse wore the crown?
No, I mean the
I
same
couldn't
horse
actually-
the king rode when he got coronated and had a crown put on his head.
I mean, I could see the understanding. I could, you know. Yeah, we have in today's material, this is Vayhi Bayom HaShlishi, and that appears many times in our total material. But in today's material, where does it say Vayhi Bayom HaShlishi? Laila.
Esther goes to see Achashverosh.
Well, it reminds me. Did Dias is before? In connection to what it say, Kasher Shacholti, Shachalti, and the other place is Kasher Avati, Avati. Say, Alicia, say one.
Yaakov said, Kasher Shacholti, when he sent Ben Yamin.
Right, and Kasher Avati, Avati. Yitzchak.
Esther.
That was Esther. Where does it say, in connection to one, Ba'ata al te'atzavu, and where does it say al te'atzavu?
Say that again?
We, in connection to what does it say, Va'ata, and now don't be saddened, al te'atzavu, and where does it say, in connection to what? Al te'atzavu, do not be saddened. Elisha, say one.
Al Teitzavu is what the Levim told the on Rosh Hashanah when they were sad.
And Yitzchak?
The Yosef told his brothers, "Ve'ata al te'atzu."
Right.
Also, isn't al te'atzevu?
Everything's possible. I don't recall it that way. It would be in Bereshis Memhei. You know?
No,
It just-
in Nehemiah.
That's Perik Ches, no? Perik Ches from Nehemiah? No, left-hand page. Oh, so my goodness. My goodness. Gee whiz. Thank you very much. You're right. You're right. Wow. Gee whiz. Yeah. In both places in Nehemiah, it says, Ba'al te'atzevu. Gee, thank you very much. Ready to give myself a slap in the face, you know? It's interesting to think of where did Ezra read this Sefer in front of the people? Okay, I didn't say on what, but where did it say? Yitzchak.
The Rehov that's in front of Sha'ar HaMayim.
Right. Let's see if someone would remember the Sha'ar HaMayim. The Sha'ar HaMayim, by the way, if I recall correctly, in the Nehemiah Perek Yud Beis, a lot of Sha'arim and a lot of Migdalim. I think, you know, like Migdal Hananel, you know, is. By the way, and mentions also the word Ha'ofel, right? And we have a Ha'ofel someplace else, not in today's material. Where do we have that? Ha'ofel. Yes, Elisha?
Gehazi deposited the goods the stuff which he took from Naaman at the Ophel.
Yeah, Choliot, to me, I remember something else. Yitzchak.
Ve'ata ofel bas Zion Micha.
See, what kind, you see, it's unbelievable. Okay, let's see. This is where I don't have a computer brain here. So it's slowing down. See, what do I remember? I remember Shmuel Bay's Perek Hey. So let's see if I said Perek Hey. So why don't no, I was wrong. It's Batsinor. Ophel is another name for Migdal, you know? And in Shmuel Bay's Perek Hey, it talks about Yevusi at the beginning, and it says Batsinor, not Ophel, you know? Yeah.
Melachim bet. Vayivol Ophel vayikach miyadam vayifkod b'bayis vayishtach es hanashim vaylechu.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting that it's actually it's in our material. Okay, oh yeah, okay. We have Eitz Avot, okay, that is mentioned in our material. I can remember two places. Okay, say one, Elisha.
In Nehemiah, when they take mentioned in the same pasuk Hadasim and Eitz Avot. So then one was the wire and one was for the. Oh, but in Nehemiah when they were building the sukkah.
So what are just informational purposes? What is the Eitzavot supposed to be used for? Alicia, continue.
Oh, the harasim. Anaf Eitzavot.
But it's used for the sukkah. Where else is Eitzavot mentioned? Yitzchak.
By the mitzvah of Daled Minim and Parshamor.
Right. Of course, any dummy knows it's Perichat Gimel Pasuk Mem. It's a simple, right? I see Amichai smile. That means he knew that it was. You can see it's written all over his forehead. Vayikra Chav Gimel Pasuk Mem.
For some reason the lulav bags, they write on them. They have the pasuk L'kachtem Lachem Hayom Harishon, and they write Vayikra Chav Gimel Mem Aleph.
What? Really?
I saw 10 lulav bags that had that on.
Are you for real? I want to tell you something.
Strange.
I could never buy something like that because it's like for example, I remember there was a silver place off of Route 59 in Muncie, and it's a Kos Shel Eliyahu, and it has wording, and I think it's supposed to be a reish, and it has a dalet instead. I said, "Are you kidding me? I can never buy something like that." Chutzpah. It was like lahavdil. Amichai, can you imagine this? You heard of Ebki. Ebki is a certain artist, right? So what happens is they have a picture of Yerushalayim, and it's like it's standing out a little bit, and it says Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Bonev Rachamav Yerushalayim, Amen. And I asked the people who the picture's hanging up, I said, "What's wrong with this picture?" And they look at it and I said, "Baruch Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Bonev Rachamav Yerushalayim, Amen." I said, "What are you kidding?" And they can't even figure out how could you buy such a picture? It's unbelievable. Well, Elisha, what's wrong with that? What's wrong?
I don't have good enough memory. I look at the sitter.
Whoa, my goodness. Lila, what's wrong with the picture?
I'm also a more visual person. Like if I see it, I'd be able to tell.
Excellent. I understand there are people like Yitzchak.
There's no malchus in that bracha.
There's no Elokeinu Melech Haolam. Baruch Hashem Bonev Rachamav Yerushalayim. Amen, And they don't even see this. It's unbelievable, Unfortunately, it just kills my eyes, to see something like that. Chas v'shalom, In fact, actually, it's an interesting story. I think in the early 70s, maybe 73, 74. So there's the famous thing is this Yom HaHofa'ah. It's first day stamps in Israel. So in the old days, very expensive. You buy it. The people standing online the first day Yom HaHofa'ah, they go to the post office. They buy who knows how many of each thing. So there's a series of batei knesiot, of shuls. One of the shuls had to be taken off the market. Why? The stamp, not the shul. Okay. Why? Because if you look closely, it said Hashem's name on the window, the colored window. You can't have Hashem's name on a stamp. You chas v'shalom, right? They had to take it off the market. But someone would see right away. Say, "Whoa, what is this?" Most people wouldn't even notice it. Okay. It's interesting. The word birurot, in our Torah material, I don't recall it except for like it's almost like Shen Habim, right? We only have it one place. So first of all, who's going to answer Shen Habim and meaning where does Shen Habim
What do these
found.
words mean?
What?
Like, what's the
Shenabim is the ivory tusk, the ivory tusk, or the tooth of an elephant, which is a dead giveaway, you know. Okay, but the other one is birot, which is like a kind of bird. Okay, so where Yitzchak, which you choose one.
Nehemiah had at his table, he had 6 sewn bureaus.
Sheish birot v'tziporim, right? Chad ליום אחד, שור אחד, צאן, 6 בריות וציפורים. Which to a certain degree, what could you think of a comparison is to what? Sounds similar to, yes, Alicia.
Like Shlomo's table.
Yeah, I was thinking.
That was barburim, and this is beruros.
Right. Okay, but you can also
Is
think
it
of like
possible?
shor eshpar, eshpar. One word. Where is that? Eshpar. Yitzchak. Not a trick question.
When David brought up the Aron, he gave every person an
No.
eshpar.
In fact, they asked a question in the Chidon Artzi, the Chidon Tanakh Artzi, on that parak. What was it? They said, who housed, who housed the Aron Hashem before David HaMelech took it, and for how long? Elisha?
Avi Nadav for 22 years.
That was the wrong answer. That was the wrong answer.
20 years.
No.
They also got it wrong in the test in the Chidon.
I know. I was just saying what Elisha said. Just is 20, not 22.
No. Look at my fingers. What does 3 say?
No, I know you're saying Obed Edom and for 3 months.
Oh, that's the answer. That's the answer for 3 months. 3 months. Right? Excusez-moi. That was not a tough thing. But sometimes you forget. Right? I mean, it happens. I want to tell you something. It's interesting, though, very interesting to find out that all the top 17 got at least 1,000 shekel. And some people got 2,000 shekel, and some people got even more than that, right?
What's this a shekel?
Top 17 of what?
Excuse me?
The top 17 of what?
Of the finals of the Chidon Tanakh Artzi. For placing the top 17, each one, no matter what, got 1,000 shekel. Then
We didn't get 1,000 shekel.
the next round.
Got 2 weeks in Israel. It's more than 1,000 shekels.
Yeah, no kidding.
Do you have the itinerary for what's happening in Israel?
When we finish talking and we stop the recording, I'll show you a letter that's going to go out hopefully tonight.
Ooh,
And it
nice.
also include like the packing list of what we should.
Among other things.
Who? First of all, how many times did they try to convince Nehemiah to have a meeting to come to them? How many times? Lila.
5 times?
5 times, right? And who hired somebody to lie through his teeth?
Tovia and Sanballat.
And who did they hire?
They hired, I forgot the name of the Navi Sheker, but they also hired Noadja Hanavia. But they had the Navi Sheker.
That's not what that's not what I'm looking
I know what you're looking for, and I forgot the name.
It ends with it's like.
And it's not the person but matred.
Oh, it was in the Hey Tavel.
Well, but that's not, that's the last part. It's Shmaya ben Dlaya ben Mehetav El. You know, and what were the two reasons that Nehemiah says, you know, I can't come? There were two reasons. Yes, Alicia?
First of all, am I a person to run away with stuff? And second of all, I can't even go into the Beit HaMikdash.
Actually, there's a second point, which is, by the way, you're correct. Second point is a famous story about someone who wanted to convert to be Jewish, you know, and you know and he wanted, but on the condition that he would be able to be Kohen Gadol. So what happens is, listen, part of it says, V'hazar hakarev yumat. So what happens is, because once you heard that, he converted, but you know, what? Yitzchak what? So what happens, because he heard that V'hazar hakarev yumat, he still converted, but he said, I'm not going to seek being a Kohen Gadol. But it's the same thing here. Which kind of proves that he was not a Kohen, right? Even though you might have mistaken that he was a Kohen. Why? Why could you have mistaken that he might be a Kohen? Elisha.
Because it was Nehemiah ben Chauki.
That's the reason why? You got it. Come on. Give me a better answer than that. Okay. I'll give you a hint. I think it's Nehemiah Perek Yud is the answer. Yeah, Yitzchak.
Because on the big star that they wrote, he's like the first one mentioned, and then it says Elah HaKohanim.
Right.
You could still learn that he was a Kohen. He just said they can't go into the Heichel for no reason.
It's not a Kohen. Come on, you know that. That's right. And it's interesting, by the way, the word amana, which is a shtar, okay, is, I think that word was also found in Sefer Daniel, but it's not in this year's material. Amana.
Also the river, Amana and Parpar.
Where's that?
Then the Melachim, when Naaman says, I can go.
I have two Melachims here. Two Sifrei Melachim. Beis, which parak?
Hey.
Good. If I'd be a betting person, I would say it's in the Tanakh Koran on the right-hand page, next to the last line. I could be wrong, but since you've asked me to see if I'm right, okay, I said, remember, right-hand page, parak A, I say next to the last line.
I think I saw it when I was looking.
No.
It's a Korean Ksiv because it's written.
Lucky guess.
Avana.
Lucky guess. This is the right-hand page. If you take a look, the next to last line is Amana Ufarpar. It says, it says, Halo Tov Amana Ufarpar. And Amana is, by the way, not written with a mem. It says with a vase. Halo Tov Amana Ufarpar Narot Hamesi Mikol Memei Yisrael. And that's just, what are you kidding me? It's interesting, by the way. It's interesting side thing that name me two people who were called a father, and actually I could say three, called a father, and they weren't their father. Okay, Yitzchak, say one.
Elisha.
Elisha, who called him that?
Both Yoash and Yehoram.
Yeah, go ahead. Laila.
But didn't Elisha also call Eliyahu Avi?
That's also true. And who's the third? Elisha.
Wasn't Yosef called the Av of Para?
Don't you think Avreich? You think that?
No, by Simeni Le'av Lefaro, it says. וישימני לאב לפרעה. But who I think the quote you're looking for is Ve'avi re'eh, no?
Avi, you know.
Ve'avi re'eh, right? That's the quote you're looking for, the third one.
Avi, what, in Re'eh?
No, Ve'avi re'eh, that's the complete quote. And my father see. No?
Why did I ask this question?
Same
What?
for Naaman.
We just started off with Naaman, right? So it says in Perek Hey, Lochem Beis Perek Hey, Pasuk Yud Gimel, Vayigeshu avadav vayidabru elav vayomru, Avi, davar gadol hanavi diber elecha lo taseh, va'af ki amar elecha rechas utar. They're
Yeah,
telling
what
him.
the guy is saying is also Shaul. Virei gam re'ei knaf mi'ilcha.
Yeah, that's right. David told Shaul, he said when he didn't cut, Ve'avi re'eh gam re'eh, et knaf mi'ilcha biyadi, ki bechorti et knaf mi'ilcha velo harakticha.
Also, like Abraham is Avamon Goyim.
Yeah, but
That's somebody, that's a different, like it's like a
Different,
kinui, but this
yeah.
is somebody actually calling somebody my father. So that's what he's looking for, I think.
So based on that, I was just thinking the association. Where does it say Alminama umlachim mimecha yetzeu versus umlachim mechalatzecha yetzeu? Alicia, say one.
Melachim mechalatzecha yitzeu, that was to Yaakov.
And umlachim mimecha yetzeu. Yitzchak.
I was also saying Melachim Mechal. Is that also Yaakov?
Is it to Yehuda?
Umlachim mimecha yetzeu is Avram. That's how you can tell difference. Mechalatzecha is many, said Yaakov had many sons. Umlachim mimecha yetzeu is Avram. But it's just association. Yeah, it's interesting that we have Bikat Ono mentioned in today's material in connection to what?
Bigato, no?
Bikat Ono. What happens is there's Kiryat Ono, which is right near Bar Ilan University. Kiryat Ono, it's next to Givat Shmuel, it's near Ramat Gan, but it was Bikat Ono, Yitzchak.
That was where Sanballat wanted Nehemiah to meet him.
Yeah.
Bakfir.
Bakfirim bebigat Ono. Sorry. Well, I think, yeah. Where do we have the concept of Magen Abraham? The Gra holds from Henetz HaChama to Shkiat HaChama is the day. The Magen Abraham holds differently. Yitzchak.
No, you see from the pasuk in Nehemiah because we were doing work Me'alos HaShachar at Tzeisak Kochavim.
Right. So what happens is that's, when they were the building and the staying at the watch. No. Right. So we talked about in the past that people have made things up, imagined things, and the word is bada, like bada milibam, etc. But Almin Amar, Vayimalech libi alai. Vayimalech libi alai. Okay, Alicia.
In Nehemiah, when Tuvia, Amani, and Sanballat were saying that they were that he appointed Nevi'im to proclaim king. That was the one where that was the Voda'am.
Vayimalech libi alai. Happens to be, yes, it's Nehemiah, but it's regarding to the people claim that, my goodness, we're in up to our necks in debt. So he was saying to the chorim, this kind of the wealthy people, you guys got to get rid of this loan, this thing that it's killing people, you know. It says, it's interesting. It says, it says, "Vayimelech libi alai" in Perkei, "V'riva et hachorim v'et hasaganim v'omra lehem masha ish b'achiv atem noshim." Noshim here, it's not noshim, but it's like a halva'a, loan, okay? And it keeps on going, and it says, "Va'omar lo tova." Sorry, but right before the next pasuk says, "V'gam atem timkeru et achichem v'nimkeru lanu vayacharishu." It says vayacharishu. Who else is k'macharish? A trick question, honestly. K'macharish. Yitzchak.
By Shaul it says Vayhi Kemacharish, and also Yaakov is the.
Wait. He was quiet by what?
About the people saying sarcastically, Shaul Yimlo Chalenu.
That's B'nai B'lial. It said, who said we're going to use Shaul's going to be the king? So he just kept quiet. It's the end of what.
But also by Yaakov, Hecharish Yaakov ad Boam.
Yes, which is to a certain degree, he should have opened his mouth, you know, to a certain degree. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. We have cases where when you do some action, it symbolizes, it sends a message. For example, Achiyah Hashiloni, right? He takes the coat and the new coat and he rips it, right? And the way it happens is to tell whom that the person is going to be king, right? But we have a case in today's material, a person does some physical action, and that also symbolizes something. What are the two cases I gave? Yitzchak.
Achia Shaloni was ripping up the Salma and gave 10 pieces to Yoravam. And in today's material, Nehemiah, he emptied out his pocket and he said Hashem will empty out, or his chotzen, however you translate it.
Why we say chotzen's a pocket? How's a chotzen pocket?
It's like a pouch in like your shirt or something.
Gam chotzni na'ardi b'amram. Kacha yina'er ha'elokim et kol ha'ish asher lo ekim et הדבר הזה מביתו ומגיעו וככה יהיה נעור וריק. Right? Yeah. It's interesting that Nehemiah was trying to say, I did not do like others. What didn't he do? Elisha.
He didn't make the people pay him like taxes, sort of. Because I think they wanted the original guys. They paid them 40. I think 40 was a different thing.
It says, Lechem hapecha lo achalti. I didn't eat the food of the fancy schmancy people. Yeah. You have something similar, by the way, but it's not our material, but Daniel, that the Zeronim, yeah. What did Nehemiah ask from Artaxerxes when he said, listen, I gotta go. Okay, Lila.
He asked for a letter to bring to, I think, the gatekeeper in the forest or the keeper in the forest. So he has
Absa.
Shomer Pardes.
Yeah, but what did he ask? The what? The what? What about the letter? I mean, I could say, hello. You know, there's a famous thing as a joke. You don't have to be Jewish. It says, and to my brother, like in Guy's will, and to my brother-in-law Louis, who only ate the best foods, mine, and who smoked only the best cigars, mine, who said I'd never mention him in my will. Hello, Louis. You know, so what happens is, no, but what did he ask in the letter? You know, just hello, guys. What did he ask? Yitzchak.
To like give him like supplies to build.
Korot.
Right. Okay. And what else? Is that it? That's all he asked for?
To let
Alicia.
him in and not kill him.
What else?
Korot for the Choma, his house.
That's what Yitzchak said. His supplies for the Eitzim to build. That's it. That's all he asked.
to let him go through safely.
Oh, you also asked for the Bachabot, Hanahar, to safe passageway, right? There's two things that he asked for.
Oh, also, והברכות הראשונים אשר לפני הכבידו על העם ויקחו מהם מלחם ויין אחר כסף שקלים 40.
Yes. Who said to whom, "V'lachem ein chelek u'tzedakah v'zikaron b'Yerushalayim"? Who said to whom? Elisha.
This was Nehemiah to Tuvia Muni and Sanballat.
Achoroni.
You have to. I would say you have to use all the three things. Geshem, right? Or sometimes
Geshem
it's called
ha'Arabi.
Gashmu. Geshem ha'Arabi, right? Arabi. Yeah. So three people, right? In this case, three people. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot to ask, but again, there's so much material. It's only 415 brakim. It's from my past, I think there's a little more like 425 ones. But just if you think that you can do the percentage, there are 929 brakim, so you do 415 over 929, and you get not 50%, but very close to it. Close to it. Listen, it's initially I was thinking
45%.
of Lila, it's still a lot of material, And I want to tell you something. My brother was in the Chidon Tanakh Olami in like 1980s, around that time. And for the most part, he remembers most of the stuff. And he's now he's 64, he's 58 years old. 58 years old. In fact, this week he'll be 58 in Hebrew count. So what happens is that the stuff that you remember, that you go over material, the odds are you're probably not going to forget the material. You look at Amichai, he still remembers. It's kol hakavod, So unfortunately, I always think about the Pirkei Avot, that it's like as you get older, the stuff gets paged out. Unfortunately, it's terrible. I remember seeing my brother-in-law. He's incredible, unbelievable amount of material that he publishes. It's just not to be believed. And I remember one time this year, he was speaking to his yeshiva, and he just couldn't remember the pasuk, which like a few years beforehand he probably just off the tongue. It happens, unfortunately. So, I was thinking that had we had 2 more Sundays, even that would be difficult to go over all this material, in one, 2 shots.
Do we have one more Sunday or 2 more?
We have
Sundays?
one more Sunday. We have next
There's
Sunday.
Well, what happens? So that's why I want to talk. Look, I could be available. I don't have anything planned next Sunday. But the thing is, I can't go over 415 prakim, in 1 week. I can't. I'm sorry, And I could pull out question here, pull out question there, but at this point, really, it's a matter of going over it, and like I mentioned, keep on mentioning, is cataloging.
How do you remember the list of names though? Like in
I can't. What happens is even they asked in the Chidon Tanakh Artzi to finish a sentence. Psukim Mishlei, I'm clueless. I can't do it. And so what happens is some people say, I hope they don't ask me this question, and that's it. And if they do ask me this question on Mishlei and I can't, okay, I accept that.
Well, I think the list of names in like beside for Nehemiah, I think like beside for Nehemiah and Ezra are like pretty like I think it's better to know those than the ones in Ezra and Nehemiah.
Yeah, those ones are the only ones that are really not manageable at all. There's like pages.
But just in general, it's hard to remember all the names.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know. I know to me, Rehov is or Parosh, because Parosh is one of the names, and so say, where do we have Parosh? That's easy.
Or like Gimza, and it's like, wow.
Where do we have Parosh in our material? Yeah, Alicia.
It was saying like the son of these sons of Parosh were the ones who married foreign wives, and
okay, it's in our total material. That's the answer, right? No. Yitzchak. Right. So you have Parosh in Shmuel Bay, in Shmuel Bays. In Shmuel Aleph, Perik Chaf Bays.
And then again in Chavav.
Yud Gimel. No. Parosh. I said Parosh.
It's in both.
Is in both? 1 second.
the interesting names you have.
I don't think so. Shmuel Bays is it's Pasuk Dalet or Yud Gimel. Hold on. No. There's no. Keep on going. New. We said Chavez, right? What are you looking at? Come on. Notice I'm looking on the right-hand page. So, Shmuel. I said
Could
Shmuel.
have been more of a Persian name than a Hebrew.
Shmuel Aleph Chavez. Come on. No, it's Chavdalad, right? Chavdalad Yud Dalad, right? Chavdalad Yud Dalad.
And Kafvav 20.
Oh,
That's my concordancia.
That's
which is also known as Yitzchak Spivak.
Correct. I have in both places underlined Parosh. Yeah, Chavdalad. Yeah, and that's the famous things of Umi chamocha beYisrael, right? Versus Umi ka'amcha ki Yisrael, Umi ka'amcha Yisrael. That's with David Hamelech, and Umi chamocha beYisrael is Abner. That David is saying, right? We talked about that. So you see, a Parosh you have twice, well, 3 times, but it's the same, same thing. We talked about.
So if we're in that place in the concordancia, so the next entry is Pir Aton, the name of a place, Pir Aton. So the two people from Pir Aton. Okay, Elisha one and Yitzchak the other.
One of the Shoftim was like Hila. Hapirotoni.
Avdon ben Hillel.
Oh,
That's
Okay,
that's
so I guess
in
his father was
Hillel
also
was
that,
still
that should be in Perek Yud Beis, no? In Shoftim Yud Bet.
And then it says they buried their
Uh,
also.
yeah, Shoftim Yudbet.
That's it. That was
And
it.
who else was from Piratoni? Was it Piratoni?
I would have guessed Shmuel Beis Perek Gimel, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's a very good guess. It's also a correct guess. What was his name?
But it's one of the
Yitzchak, what was his name?
Giborim.
Yeah,
One
one
of
of
the
the Giborim of
37
David.
Giborim.
Benayahu Pirasoni.
That's right. Benayahu Piratoni is mentioned also in Divrei Hayamim, but that's not in the material. But but only one of them, by the way, was. And it says that he was buried in Piraton Be'eretz Ephraim, and that's.
That it's a very interesting question. That and the Chidon Tanakh Artzi, that they said, it was Ruth, and she said Ibtzan. Did you see that? And they said she's right. Now what happens? It doesn't say Ibtzan in Sefer Ruth. We know that according to Medrash, Ibtzan is Avimelech.
No, because they asked they asked which shofet came from Beis Lechem.
Was that the question? Which shofet?
There was a two-part question. The first part was like, where did they go? And the answer was Beis Lechem. And they said, which shofet came from Beis Lechem?
what they made, I guess they made.
So they weren't. Okay, so I misunderstood. Yes. Yeah. Okay, that'll be correct. Yeah. And that's he has many kids, right? Yeah.
But according they all died.
So so I was thinking, Amichai, it's up to you. I'm game, but next Sunday to ask for 415 prakim. It's like I can't review 450 prakim in 1 week. So I don't know whether it's kedai or not kedai. I defer to you.
Listen, we can try and bring our own questions and see what we could do and just have fun. It could be a half an hour, it could be an hour, and then as long as we last.
You should know that I mentioned at the very beginning that if one had, let's say, a chevruta. I remember when Avi Reback won the USA middle school national. So what happens? He had a kid from his class, also participating in Tanakh, and they just used to ask questions to each other, just to see can they get them, trick them, and so like that. And that's a great way of lechadid. And that's the whole purpose of chevruta, to sharpen the minds. So I'm willing. Listen, So want to let's go for it.
Okay, so let's stop the recording, okay?
Okay.
And